I notice how many Islamic teachings focus on preparing us for the hereafter. And while there's nothing wrong with this, of course, I also want us to notice another pattern that emerges when we constantly hope for future rewards or wait for Allah to ease our struggles. In the midst of hoping for a future, we rarely acknowledge that we are already capable of surrendering and ending our suffering in the present moment. I, for example, suffered for many years, waiting and hoping that my life would one day look the way I believe was best. But at some point and after many prayers, I realized that this constant future-oriented way of thinking was not aligned with Islam, because it makes us live with an internal voice that tells us, well, I cannot be happy now, but I will eventually once I get X, Y, Z, whatever we want to get. For example, many people have approached me telling me how they are not happy in their current life because they are not married, or they are not parents yet, or they don't have a particular job they want. And this focus that we continue on living can end up postponing the very transformation Allah wants for us today. Transformation implies uncovering the person Allah created us to be, and this looks very different for each of us. Islam contains everything we need to begin living a fulfilled life right now, no matter how our current life looks like or what we believe we are lacking in. One of the most beautiful examples of this concept is how Allah describes a tranquil soul, Nafs al-Mutma'innah, in Surah al-Fajr. Allah is addressing a tranquil soul and is asking it to return to Him, pleased and pleasing to Him. Notice how Allah is calling the tranquil soul while someone is still in this world. This is not a soul that will become tranquil after death. Death does not create that peace. Nafs al-Mutma'innah is a soul that has found inner peace in this life, that is content with Allah's decree and has achieved certainty in faith. This is why the scholars of Tazkiyah An-Nafs have always taught that the spiritual path is about transformation, not simply information. We can memorize the Quran and still have an anxious heart. We can know many rulings and still struggle with pride, anger, or impatience. Knowledge is essential, of course, but knowledge is meant to become transformation. Perhaps this is why so many people find themselves constantly waiting. They keep waiting for Allah to reward them. They keep waiting for life to become meaningful. They keep waiting for happiness in the hereafter because some people just don't believe they can have it in the now or in this life. Every prayer, every moment of dhikr, every test, every blessing is an invitation for us to acknowledge how we can find surrender at every given moment. The goal is not simply to arrive in Jannah one day. It is to become the kind of person who already lives in Jannah while in this world. And this happens when we learn to see through our spiritual eyes. Because the more our heart remembers Allah today, the more the hereafter stops feeling like a distant destination. It becomes a reality that quietly transforms every moment of our lives. And perhaps that is one of the most beautiful purposes of the Quran, not simply to tell us where we're going, but to transform who we are becoming now.